I see. Su Yingxiu slowly nodded. After listening to her brother, she believed that this mysterious teacher wasn't being generous. Maybe he never meant to hide anything. Calm down. Su Yingxiu frowned at Su Kuang. Just make sure you behave in front of your teacher tomorrow. And if you get to study under him in the long run, well, congratulations. Su Kuang smirked. Of course, sis, I know what's important. I mean, you should congratulate him for finding a student as brilliant as me. Su Yingxiu rolled her eyes but decided not to point out Su Kuang's problematic speech. I'll go with you tomorrow, so you don't accidentally say something you're not supposed to. Besides, the outskirts aren't exactly safe. No. If anyone tries something funny, I can just beat them down. Heck, I'm one of the here, an apple to keep your mouth full. Hey! Inside the Pixie Pet Store. Over after dismissing Su Kuang's chat, Su Ping kept scheming through the student list to look for candidates with good ambitions. Answering a few of Su Kuang questions over the internet just earned him 500,000. If he could, he would consider this as a new way of teaching, which would save him a lot of time compared to doing home visits. More importantly, he wouldn't neglect his usual business this way. Unfortunately, not many students could accept such a method for obvious reasons. Su Ping had to search for really desperate ones to take the bait, to hire his services. With this in mind, an eye-catching message that read urgent. Immediate response, quickly came into view. Tisk business coming up. He briefly checked the job description and made sure he was up for it, before contacting the student. Inside an apartment room, a woman sat cross-legged on a soft cushion, while swirls of astral power surrounded her body. It was her usual training routine. Beep. Her PC suddenly sent her an alert. She slowly opened her eyes, dispelled the astral power, and checked the screen. Longjong cool dude has sent you a message. Wait, what? It was strange, but she could tell the message came from the online tutoring site, so she decided to check it out since she was indeed looking for a private teacher. Longjong cool dude, hello. Do you need a lesson? Oh, nice, someone found my message. Wait, she saw the speaker's name inside a golden frame, implying that it was a titled Battle Pet Warrior. For real. She immediately straightened her body on her seat with a surprised look. Didn't they say that the website only uses titled warriors to lure people in? They never teach. Delighted, she clicked on the teacher's name to check the profile. Tutor records, none. Time of registration, a few days ago. Reviewed? No. There was even an, beside this man's name telling her to be cautious. Xia Yuexuan found her passion was quickly turning cold. It did seem like a typical scammer to her, though she was smart enough not to assume this yet. There was still a very slim chance that she was truly talking to a newly registered titled warrior. It didn't hurt to try. This website dished out serious punishments to scammers anyway. Greetings, sir. Are you available? Xia Yuexuan typed her first message. I do online courses only. No on-the-spot appointments. Of course, such courses are cheaper. Wait, what? Xia Yuexuan halted in the middle of her next message. We're not going to meet? What kind of private teacher is that? How much for an online course then? She had decided to drop the courteous tone. How about 800,000? Hat. Xia Yuexuan spat. This guy's an ambitious fraud, eh? He wants that kind of money just by typing a few words on the keyboard. She did have a problem with her training right then, so she decided to proceed and see what would happen. Alright, I've been stuck at the 6th rank for a long time. Do you perhaps know how to help me to get to the next rank? She moved her cursor over the report button just so she could hand this cheater to justice the moment she saw a dishonest answer that asked her to pay pronto. A real titled warrior should be able to assist her without a problem. Suaping was indeed stumped by such a question, since he himself was only at the 4th rank. He had no idea what the bottleneck that separated those two ranks felt like. Well, these kinds of queries weren't included in your original request, right? Didn't you need a teacher to help you with your pets? Xia Yuexuan's expression turned cold. She knew how this tutoring site worked. Anyone could be registered as a titled battle pet warrior at the beginning, though they had to go through an official review process to get approved. Otherwise, a false registration would only result in their teaching license being permanently revoked. Apparently, she was looking right at such a case. Xia Yuexuan made up her mind to embarrass Suaping further before hitting the report button. Pets, eh? All right. Let me ask this. How can a 7th rank corpse dancer defeat a fire-type limbo lion? She hit enter, sat back on her seat and waited for Suaping to come up with a lie. They are both rare astral pets. It would also be rare for ordinary teachers to have seen them, let alone knowing how they fight. What can a liar do? Suaping's message came. A corpse dancer can't win against a limbo lion? But how? Is the lion at a higher rank? Of course they're at the same rank. Xia Yuexuan wasn't making things up, that question was an important task a teacher assigned her. She had spent several years exploring barren areas, after which she went to a college again to go for a higher degree, with the hopes of becoming a leader or a manager of settler teams, not an expendable foot soldier. To achieve this goal, getting a good score in college was crucial. She had to deliver all her homework and projects as best as she could. How about their skill sets? Asked Suaping. Well, the standard composition you can find from the Federation's book. The standard one. Suaping held his chin and pondered. The illustrated books published by the Federation came in different types aimed for pets of different levels. To most people, using a standard book was enough because it contained everything they should know about an average pet. On a side note, pets that were qualified to be quoted by a standard illustrated book were inferior pets according to the system. Weird. An average corpse dancer should have enough skills to take down a limbo lion with ease. Do I really have to answer such a stupid question? Suaping thought. He still did, since it was his job after all. First, tell the corpse dancer to use dark mist to cover the battlefield, then use deadly roar and death hymn to disrupt the lion's spirit. Next, use soul incursion to get the lion when its mind is vulnerable, so you can control its movements. The last step? Tell your corpse dancer to waltz up ahead and punch the lion in the face. Suaping sent that message and sipped some water. The third step was unnecessary since most people would see what they had to do when their opponent was no longer moving. Though he still explained, just in case. Meanwhile, Xia Yuexuan didn't know whether she should get angry or laugh after that ridiculous lesson. The quick win part made the answer even worse, as if the speaker knew several different methods to win at a slower pace. She remained patient while reading the response. When she reached the end of the message, she was 100% sure that this teacher actually knew nothing. Those steps were wrong. Death hymn was indeed a standard skill known by corpse dancers. It was a spiritual attack intended to obscure the minds of average enemies. But a limbo lion was not an average enemy. The hymn wouldn't work. Soul incursion was the corpse dancer's main trick. Of course Xia Yuexuan knew about it. She also knew that this skill couldn't be used lightly because it would have the opposite effect if the enemy's spirit was more powerful. In the worst case, the corpse dancer would die if its own attack backfired. As for the last step, she felt as if she was being mocked at. The fight should be basically over if soul incursion somehow worked. Even idiots knew how to finish off an immobile enemy. That question was. Well, 500,000 should be enough. Suaping said his price, a little uncertain about it. Even if he liked money, that sounded a bit too much for an idiotic question. But he couldn't set his price too low either, as it would potentially ruin the market. He was a titled battle pet warrior teacher after all. Xia Yuexuan was about to report Suaping, but she almost threw her mouse at the floor when looking at the payment request. I'm doing this guy a favor by not pointing out his terrible fraud already. And yet he's asking for money? The price was fine as long as her problem was solved. She was even willing to pay double. But paying a scammer? Not in her life. She moved up her sleeves to engage in a keyboard fight. 500,000. Isn't that a bit cheap? Suaping raised an eyebrow, though he didn't find it necessary to go back on his own offer. It's fine. Consider it my service for our first time. I'll return to my usual pricing when we meet next time. Well, to hell with you then. This guy's so stupid that he can't even read a joke. Xia Yuexuan clenched her teeth. There won't be a next time, loser. Come on, I don't want to disappoint such a brilliant teacher, I'll pay you 5 million. 5 million? Suaping went agape. Was I underestimating my service? Or, was that actually a very important question? If you say so. Suaping gave in. Xia Yuexuan laughed at that. He actually believed it. Seriously? Ahem. Right, send me your phone number now. Phone number? Not a bank account? Suaping still complied since they were talking about 5 million. He thought the payer wanted to be extra cautious. Xia Yuexuan saw Suaping's message and immediately dialed the number, while still snickering. Beep. Suaping picked up his phone and saw the caller's number displayed in asterisks. Though this wasn't a problem since rich families all knew how to hide their privacy. Hello. Eat dog shit you absolute foo *king. The caller spent a few minutes unloading a bunch of curses, laughing madly, and then hanging up. Suaping lowered his phone, dismayed. What was that? Someone got the wrong number? He shook his head and continued reading the online chat. Screw you and go to hell, dumbass. That was the student's last message. Her portrait was grayed out, so she either went offline or had blacklisted him. Suaping just realized he had been fooled. He did his job just fine, and this was how he got paid in the end? Foo *k don't let me find out who you are. Irritated, he closed the site and turned away. It seemed online teaching had way more problems than he thought. Maybe this is because I haven't been reviewed yet? But can't that student go and try to see whether my suggestions work? Useless fool. He took several deep breaths to calm down. He had decided to give up being an online teacher. He had many more means to find money anyway. That felt good. Xia Yuexuan dropped her phone and laughed on her bed. This is how you deal with stinky online scammers. And he can't even do a thing to me. A moment later, she got off bed and found the report page to do the unfinished job, so this scammer wouldn't continue annoying other people. Her phone rang as soon as she closed the page. She wondered if that scammer was calling her back, but dropped that thought since that was impossible when she had a privacy protection set up. That service cost her family a lot every month. She read the number on display and quickly adopted a more serious attitude. Hello, teacher. Yuexuan? Did you finish my assignment yet? I'm working on it. I'm doing good. Good. Send me the result in 3 days. Of course, teach. I'm confident in you. Don't let me down, all right. Xia Yuexuan ended the call as she slumped back down on the floor. Finishing the task in 3 days was pretty much impossible. She had spent days inside a battle simulation unit and never once did she succeed. The assignment was a rather tough one. A limbo lion was of the fire type, which was naturally at an advantage against undead type astral pets. Fire didn't work as well as holy power when attacking the undead, though it was still effective. She even used the simulation system in opposite ways by controlling a limbo lion to fight a hostile corpse dancer. But no matter how she tried, the lion would always emerge victorious. She had received such a difficult assignment for homework just because her teacher had high hopes for her. But, she was stuck. She went back to her bed and moaned. Suaping cultivated his astral power in the shop while at the same time he was thinking of other ways to broaden his source of income. The clock had struck 5 in the afternoon, which meant that the students from the Phoenix Peak Academy would begin to arrive soon. It was also time for most common employees to leave their companies and start their after-work activities. As the street outside grew busier, several familiar faces soon showed up at Suaping's shop. "Sir." It was Zhang Baoxing who crossed the finishing line first that day. He expected the shop to be packed with people soon, so he sneaked out of his last lesson halfway just to get there sooner. "You look wonderful today, Professor." "Sir, are you truly a titled battle warrior?" Apparently, all those students had watched him defeat a veteran teacher from the Berserking Blade Academy earlier that day, and they all looked thrilled. Being such a young advanced teacher was impressive enough. Nobody thought that Suaping was that strong. His exploits had made clear why Suaping was so highly regarded by the academy. As a titled battle pet warrior, he could be elected as the next vice principal if he wished to. Ahem. I'm not there yet, I just used a small trick back there. By the way, which pet are you getting trained today? Although people were clearly more concerned with the first part of his response. "You're not titled," Zhang Baoxing yelled. "But how come? You can fly." "Yeah, we all saw it." "What kind of small trick, Professor? Teach us." "Come on." Suaping waved a hand impatiently. "That's not something you can learn. This is a pet shop. Get on with it if you want me to train your pets." "You're not joking, right? Then which rank are you at, sir? I've never heard of any tricks that could make you fly for real." Suaping showed a stern look. "Keep wasting time and I'll have to increase my prices." "Is that what you want?" That got people under control easily. Within seconds, they quieted down and made an orderly line in front of the counter. "Hat. The wonders of money." Suaping took out his account book and began his work. Sir, do you have to write my name every time?" Zhang Baoxing showed a timid smile. "I basically come every day." "Well, I don't want to miss your payment, do I?" "Oh, Zhang Baoxing quickly took out his phone and paid. The price was fine as long as the quality of the training service was fulfilled. However, having gone there so many times had emptied Zhang Baoxing's wallet. That day would be his last visit before he was able to get more money. "Damn it! I need to be quick. They say you can earn cash and train in barren areas, so I should try that out." Zhang Baoxing had always been an average and insignificant student at the academy, until he received Suaping's service and climbed all the way to the top 20 on the academy's ranking list. The only problem was that he only had his pyro canine as his main pet, which could be easily countered if his opponents knew how. Otherwise, he was confident that he'd reach the top 10. The pyro canine saw Suaping and its bright eyes darkened in despair. It obediently moved to the back of the shop, head lowered. Suaping ignored the dog and addressed the next customer, Lu Pengfei. Hey, Professor! Are you going to teach us about something other than undead pets?" Lu Pengfei asked passionately. Perhaps." Lu Pengfei suddenly grew sad as he remembered that graduation was near. By that point, graduates like him would either have a safe and boring life inside the base city, or they could gamble for wealth and fortune in the barren areas. Settlers in barren areas would not have the chance to visit the city often. In other words, he would be unable to visit Suaping's shop like he used to. After registering the last customer, Suaping took all the pets into the pet room and threw them inside the nursing space. When he returned to the counter, he saw that a part of the customers remained behind, probably because they wanted to chat with him. He had defeated an abyss snake when everyone was watching. Even if he said that he wasn't a titled battle pet warrior, people weren't going to take his words seriously. However, nobody could find the time for small talk as more people soon came rushing into the shop. It's really him. It's Professor Su. This is his shop. Many of them were visiting for the first time, after finding out the address through friends who had also watched the match. Sir. Good day, sir. Men and women of various sizes and colors blocked the shop's door. Seeing that surge of new customers, Lu Pengfei and some of the others still loitering decided to leave, to avoid affecting his business. Su Ping sighed when he saw the crowd slowly getting out of control. Get in line, get in line. I only provide pet training for the moment. If you didn't come for that, give your place to someone else. The students did as told, though this wouldn't prevent them from asking several good old questions out loud. Are you really a titled battle pet warrior, sir? What is that skeleton? What is its exact species? Do you have a GF yet? Su Ping simply ignored the first two questions. The third one was worth considering, since it was asked by someone with a rather sweet voice. But he gave up after looking among all the people without finding the speaker. He didn't want to accidentally encourage several eager women who looked too big to his liking. Training a middle-rank pet is 100,000, the man at the front of the queue called out in disbelief after hearing Su Ping's price. He went there to join in the fun. Spending some money was fine, but not such an amount. Not all students of the Phoenix Peak Academy were rich. To an average family, such a number was an important matter they had to discuss first. When Su Ping confirmed the price for a second time, the man dropped his friendly smile as he felt humiliated. In his view, not even a titled battle pet warrior would swindle customers like this. This guy's exploiting his name to make dirty money, isn't he? Get a move on, a waiting customer protested, the price is fine to me. Or do you think Mr. Su needs to trick you? Yet. Move it already if you ain't paying. The man apologized with an irritated look and stepped aside. He did respect Su Ping after watching that fight, but he was in no condition to cough out 100,000 without talking to his family first. Several regular customers in the queue sneered at him. That guy's gonna regret it really hard, after learning the true value of Mr. Su's training to them. Seeing Su Ping become so famous was bad news, because they would have to compete against more and more people for a spot at the shop at this rate. That was why they didn't mind clearing up the misunderstanding about the true worth of Su Ping's services to any new customers. Instead, they would gladly see them be scared away. Without knowing what his clients were thinking about, Su Ping registered their names at a steady pace. However, the line was not getting shorter in the least. More and more students from the academy were joining it and making it uncomfortably longer. My goodness, Lan Liel and Su Yanying shook their heads as they saw how many more people were behind them. Just like most people, they went to visit Su Ping as soon as they saw what he did to their rival, only to get stuck in this large group unfit for such a small shop. At this rate, they would soon block the entrances of the other shops along the street. Su Yanying didn't expect this, either. Who could have known that the young store owner had not only become an advanced teacher in their academy, he also was a titled battle pet warrior. They originally thought that Su Ping had pulled some strings, using the connection of that mysterious master trainer in the store as leverage to become a teacher. It came as a surprise to them that Su Ping had accomplished those achievements by relying on himself. It was beyond their imagination that a titled battle pet warrior could be so young. Su Yanying remembered when she went to tell the good news to Su Ping when she won second place in the match. That recollection filled her with mixed feelings. She had to rely on the lightning rat to win second place. Compared to Su Ping, even Yehao the champion was not commendable, at all. Ying, do you think he still remembers us? What should I do? I questioned him and argued with him. Who would have thought that this stingy person is a titled battle pet warrior? Look, wouldn't those kinds of people, if they do exist, lose themselves in cultivation? Why would he spare the time to run a store here? Lan Liel was mumbling. Su Yanying curled her lips. She never saw Su Ping's cultivation, but he was a titled battle pet warrior. What was there to say about such a freaky genius? Su Yanying heaved a sigh inside. Wondering about him was of no use to her. She had shown up for a reason. The matches at the academy were over and their vacation was about to begin. The academy had signed those top students up for training in the barren areas. Before she left, she wanted to have her pet trained by Suiping again. This way, she would be more confident about going to the barren area. She calmed herself down after the shock that came once she found out more about Suiping. She was leaving for the barren area. Although Suiping's power was stunning, she believed that she would catch up with him gradually after training and fighting for her survival in the barren area. Suiping had achieved the goal she also had sooner. Maybe, when she caught up with him, he would still be a titled battle pet warrior. After all, the legendary warriors were still stronger than titled battle pet warriors. Natural endowments alone would not be enough. Luck was another important element. Many outstanding talents would remain stuck at the titled battle pet warrior stage for the rest of their lives, not because they lacked the ability. Good fortune played an important part. Su Yanying thought she would probably get lucky. A great talent takes time to mature. At the store, Suiping was taking notes quickly. 100,000. 10,000. The transfers were being made. Suiping would only pick up the pets after the money arrived in his account. He would take the pets to the pet room, close the door, and place them in the training space. He had no time to check his account. But since he had been paying attention that day, he was sure he had made a killing. Another day of fabulous business. Suiping was not certain about the exact amount he had received. After all, many of the pets were of low rank and the training fee was a mere 10,000. Suiping was wondering whether he should only accept middle-rank pets in the future. If that were possible, he could make more money. However, just as the thought popped out, the system struck it down. According to the system, the pet store should accept all pets. There should be no discrimination. Suiping argued with the system. I'm not against any pets, only against the low price. The system ignored his absurd argument and vanished after issuing a warning to Suiping. There was nothing Suiping could do to win an argument against this system. The system couldn't be regarded as a lifeless, inflexible item. Sometimes, the system would get angry. For example, when Suiping praised it. On the other hand, the system couldn't be regarded as a living being with a wide range of emotions. Sometimes, the system would be rigid. The system required energy points. So, what was wrong with wanting to make more money? Anyways, Suiping's proposal was rejected. He didn't bother to think more on this front. He could never win against the system. Suiping kept on writing down orders and collecting money like an emotionless machine. An hour later, Suiping came out from the pet room once again. He saw that the line outside the store was still long, which left him stunned. At the same time, he felt sorry he had to let them go. He took a deep breath and revealed this painful news to those waiting in line. No more vacancies. Come back tomorrow. He finished his words. Those waiting started an uproarious din. No vacancies? Look at the time. How could that happen? Many students were complaining unhappily. But some students didn't regard this as a serious matter. Those students were just there to check Suiping out. As for training, they were wondering, why would someone be stupid enough to trust his training? He was a titled battle pet warrior, not a titled trainer. Those were two completely different things. The ones who assiduously went to visit Suiping found those complaining ridiculous and silly. I am the only one that can see the truth. Some students thought. They gave Suiping a smile. Inwardly, they were comparing themselves to the other students who were complaining, they were so different and so calm instead. Maybe, Suiping would remember them better, since their actions were completely different when compared to the other stupid students. That wasn't bad. No more space. Mixed in the crowd, Lan Liel and Su Yanying were stunned by the news. They had been queuing there for a long time. Only a few people were in front of them, it would be their turn in 10 more minutes or so. How could all the slots have been taken? They had waited for so long for nothing. The two girls looked at each other. They found no words to describe their feelings. In the old days, they go to the store at any time and there wouldn't be a line. As it currently was, not only they had to wait in line, they stood and waited for nothing. This is insane. In the old days, there was no one when we came here. But it's full now. Lan Leal complained in a low voice. Su Yanying produced a forced smile. I knew it. Once people learned about this place, it would instantly become popular. I was right. Alas, Su Yanying felt worse when she remembered how she had no money when she had the chance to train her pets here. Lan Leal pouted. She stopped complaining. After all, Su Yanying's lightning rat had been trained there. Su Ping himself was enough to attract customers. Besides, the effect of the training offered was appealing. In the old days, people just didn't know and were easily scared away by the high prices and the shabby storefront. Right then, to get a training spot had become difficult. As time moved on, the slots in Su Ping's store would be much sought after. Let's come back tomorrow at an earlier time, Lan Leal suggested. Su Yanying heaved a sigh and left. People gradually wandered off. Su Ping apologized once again and closed the shutter door. He didn't expect his service would sell so well, either. All the spaces were full when it was still quite early. I must upgrade the store soon, because the demand will only become greater from here on. Su Ping rubbed his forehead. The training space and all the nursing pens in the store were full. Su Ping bought another 25 elementary nursing pens later. Currently, he had 50 nursing pens in total, the most the pet room could handle. Fortunately, the nursing pens were small and the spaces inside the nursing pens were independent to the exterior. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the small pet room to house the 50 nursing pens. At the moment, he had nearly 100 pets to be trained. Only after the store was upgraded could he buy more nursing pens and upgrade the training space. Making money with private tutoring is not fast enough. I must make money now. What is the quickest way? Su Ping sat by the counter with a worried look on his face. Apart from making money as soon as possible to upgrade the store to obtain more spaces, Su Ping wanted to enhance his cultivation as well. He had been trying his best and the progress in the Chaos Star chart was fast. However, to reach the 5th rank, there was still a long way to go. After he reached the 5th rank, his dummy would be able to train more pets at one time. Su Ping felt he had too many things on his plate. He considered those matters and was completely at a loss as to how to achieve them. All of a sudden, he slapped himself on the head. Why didn't he go and train the pets while thinking? He took the Inferno Dragon, the Dark Dragon Hound, the Purple Python, and 2 other middle-ranked pets he picked up with him and entered the Dragon King's heritage ground. He could train the other 2 pets of his customers in addition to his 3 pets. Soon, it was midnight. Su Ping entered the Dragon King's heritage ground again and again. Every time he returned, he would take 2 different pets to be trained with him and switch another batch of pets to be trained by the dummy. This way, in an hour, he could have 7 pets trained. When he came back to the store for another round, he heard a knocking on the door. He looked up and realized it was late at night, which scared him. He never went home at such a late hour and he had forgotten to contact his mom. She was surely worried. Su Ping felt vexed. He tried to find out who was outside. It wasn't his mom, but So Lingyu. Su Ping was confused. What was she doing there so late? Was she checking up on him by mom's request? He shouted coming and then stored away the pets that had finished training. As for the Dark Dragon Hound and the Inferno Dragon, they were too large so they stayed in the contract space. The Purple Python could move about for a bit in the store. However, it was approaching the end of its teenage years and was about to reach adulthood. The purple python was over 20 meters long and close to 3 meters wide. So, the purple python had to curl up in the aisle. There was little space for it to wander around at will. So Ping took care of the purple python. After everything was ready, he opened up the door. It was Solingyu, just as he sensed. As the door was opened, Solingyu stuck her head inside at once. "Why didn't you turn on the light?" She was astounded. So Ping took a moment to realize that, since his vision was not hindered by darkness, he didn't even notice that he had left the lights off. He found the switch to turn the lights on and asked, "What are you doing here?" Solingyu stepped in slowly. She looked around and smelled blood in the air. Some vicious pets had been there before. She put the meal box on the table and said, "Here. Mom told me to bring this to you." Seriously? Having a meal delivered was not something he had expected. Solingyu snorted. "I did know that the store's business would certainly be very good today. But why didn't you tell Mom?" "I had to tell her that." So Ping was relieved to hear her words. "Was Mom worried?" "No, I explained your situation to her." "What did you say?" Just that the store is doing well. As for your role in the academy, I didn't tell her." "You do that?" So Ping felt he could breathe again. It wasn't his intention to hide information on purpose. The explaining part was too bothersome. "Anyways, when did you start cultivating?" Solingyu turned around and looked into So Ping's eyes. So Ping raised his eyebrows. He had opened up the meal box. "Just recently," he answered. "Which idiot are you trying to fool here?" Solingyu was fuming at the mouth. "I'm not the one throwing the idiot word. You." Solingyu bit her teeth in hatred. Why did her brother have to be so mean? On the other hand, it was utterly strange that So Ping had not bullied her after he had become strong. For this reason alone, Solingyu had a better impression of So Ping and was less hostile when dealing with him. Even though, every time this guy spoke, she would be hopping mad. "Are the pets being trained by you?" Solingyu asked. So Ping buried his head in the food, pretending that he didn't hear. Veins were starting to pop on Solingyu's forehead. She took some deep breaths and changed the subject. "How long will the training take?" "I saw it once. It was fast. Can you train my snowball here?" So Ping raised his eyebrows. He looked at the meat in the bowl, paused for a second, and answered, "Why not?" "Really?" Solingyu didn't expect that So Ping would agree to help her. "But I have to charge you," So Ping added. The surge of joy in Solingyu vanished into thin air. "How much?" She frowned. "That charcoal of yours is of the middle rank, right?" "Then, 100,000, So Ping replied. Solingyu glared at him. "That is the same price you told everyone else." "That's right," So Ping admitted readily. Solingyu was enraged by how So Ping could say that so naturally. At the same time, she sensed some strange feelings, as if she was feeling uncomfortable, wronged. The emergence of such feelings was unacceptable to her. She lashed out at him, "The store belongs to our family. I am half an owner. How dare you ask me to pay? Since you are the owner, then train it yourself," So Ping talked back. He was thinking about providing the service for free, for the sake of dinner, but the system wouldn't allow it. Anyone that requested services at the store had to pay the fee, with no discounts whatsoever. That was where the system was inflexible. The system was probably worried about things becoming complicated if personal connections were mixed with business. Solingyu found no words to reply. She pouted. A few minutes later, she told So Ping, grumpily, "So be it." So Ping was surprised. "Where did you get so much money?" "I did some part-time jobs, of course," Solingyu said angrily. "I didn't ask Mom for money. Don't think of me as you, living off our parents." Halfway through her sentence, Solingyu stopped because she remembered things were different. He was no longer living off their parents. Rather, he was the backbone of the family. The fact that she had to stop her sentence made her even more furious. She snorted and turned her head away. Good for you. Suaping had a better view of his little sister. Solingyu said proudly, you must train my pet well. The training has to be as good as what you offer to other people. Naturally, Suaping answered without thinking. Solingyu didn't expect that Suaping would answer so quickly. She looked at him from the corner of her eye. He was still eating. Those words were spilled out casually, so they had to represent his real thoughts. The anger in her disappeared. She got up. Okay, I have to go now. When can I leave Snowball with you? Tomorrow, Suaping said. The store was packed. He had no place to keep Snowball at the moment. Solingyu nodded and headed to the door. When are you going back? I won't go home today. Suaping looked at the time. Since it was already late, he thought he just might as well work through the night. Solingyu gave him another look but said nothing and left. Suaping closed the door afterwards. Having had a hearty meal, Suaping went back to the Dragon King's heritage ground with his 3 pets and another 2 he had picked out to continue exploring the land. With their effort, over 60 areas had been explored. Soon, the night passed. The night before, there was a time when Suaping was completely worn out. He picked a deserted cultivation site, with a bleak environment and without any beasts. He slept for more than 10 hours. When he went back to the store, less than an hour had passed. He resumed his exploration. At the break of dawn, he heard some footsteps. Someone approached the door and stopped. Suaping supposed they were surely customers. But he didn't move to welcome them. Since he still had enough energy, he went back to training again. Several hours passed. At around 9 in the morning, the streets had become quite lively and noisy. Some elders were out, shopping for groceries. Toward the end of the street where Suaping's store was, a large number of young people were standing in line. Some recurrent customers took the lead to start the queue and some new customers followed after them. Is this Mr. Su's place? An expensive car with a license plate of the upper town area was parked on the street outside the store. Su Kuang and Su Yingxiu got out of the car at the same time. He double-checked the address in astonishment. The number 88 building of that street was a pet store? The address Mr. Su gave him was that pet store. Puzzled, the siblings looked at each other. Then, another luxurious car pulled up next to them. Yihao raised his eyebrows. They got there earlier than him. He didn't wait any longer and got out of the car. The store had not opened yet. The students could only wait there in boredom. Naturally, someone would look around. Soon, someone noticed Yihao getting out of that luxurious car. Those students stared at him in bewilderment. Look! It's Yihao! He's here! Soon, more people saw Yihao. They all turned to look at him, surprised. Yihao was the star student in the academy, and was quite famous with good reason. Almost everyone in the academy knew him. Yihao had been crushed by Luo Fengtian from the Berserking Blade Academy in their recent friendly match. But that didn't imply that Yihao was weak. It was that Luo Fengtian was strangely strong. After all, Yihao himself was a 5th-rank battle pet warrior and had an adult dragon. That was enough for him to overwhelm others. Yihao frowned at the chaos stirred up by him. But he had become used to it. It's him. Standing on the side, Su Kuang was surprised to see Yihao. Just then, he felt this person was familiar. That name came to his mind when he heard the other people exclaiming. It was last year when Su Kuang was in grade 2, he had met this lad named Yihao at the exchange match. Back then, Yihao lost to him. In less than a year, that lad had built up more fame. From the students' conversations, Su Kuang had an idea that those students were most likely from the Phoenix Peak Academy. After some thought, Su Kuang understood. Amongst all the famous academies in the Longjiang base city, Phoenix Peak Academy was at the bottom. The academy was located in the shantytown area, quite close to this current address. It wasn't strange that those students would go to Mr. Su's home. But, was this Mr. Su's home? Su Kuang doubted it as he looked at the store. Su Yingxiu noticed the look on Su Kuang's face. She threw a look to Yehao who was in the distance and asked, "Do you know that guy?" "Yes. He lost to me last year." Su Kuang nodded. Su Yingxiu didn't stare at Su Kuang any longer. She shifted her focus to the store. It was just too common. Why was it a store? This didn't make sense. Why would a titled battle pet warrior run a store in the shantytown area? At the moment, Yehao noticed the Su siblings from the corner of his eye, which took him aback. Those two stood out in the crowd. That girl next to Su Kuang, in particular, was like a sharp sword unsheathed. The general public might not sense the difference in her. But to Yehao, she could catch attention and he felt danger in her. "It's him." Yehao recognized Su Kuang at once. He was surprised, and that emotion was soon replaced with a gloomy mood. The year before, he fought in an exchange match with a senior from grade 3. Unfortunately, Yehao was defeated. To make it worse, afterward, he was taunted and laughed at by his opponent, Su Kuang. For that very reason, he was able to make a striking progress in the past year. Nobody would be able to imagine what kind of hellish experience he went through to train. To some extent, he had to thank Su Kuang. But he would never forgive him. Su Kuang raised his eyebrows and made a provocative face. He had noticed the coldness in Yehao's eyes. How could his defeated opponent be this arrogant? Yehao pressed down his anger since he was wary of the lady next to Su Kuang. By the looks of it, Su Kuang and this lady seemed to be close. Even though Yehao was confident that he could defeat Su Kuang easily by then, he could not be this impulsive. With a loud noise, the store's door was opened. Su Ping looked tired. He threw a look at the dense crowds by the door. All of them were young people. They had to be from the Phoenix Peak Academy. Those coming to pick up pets, line up on the right. Those coming to train pets, line up on the left. Right side first, Su Ping said the usual rule. The two lines were ready. This was attributable to some recurrent customers. They helped Su Ping organize everything. Mr. Su. The first in line was still Zhang Baoxing. Since he had failed to be the first one previously, he showed up earlier this day. At 4 in the morning. Zhang Baoxing was surprised to see Su Ping coming out from the store. "Mr. Su, why were you here already?" "I slept in the store." Su Ping glanced at him. He remembered Zhang Baoxing well and admired the latter. It wasn't easy to be the first in line every time. "Wait here. I'll get your pet." With that said, Su Ping went inside. By the street. When Su Ping opened the door, Su Kuang, Su Yingxiu and Yehao saw Su Ping. Yehao's eyes glowed. He paid no more attention to Su Kuang and hurried to the store. When Su Kuang saw Su Ping, he cried out in pleasant surprise, "It's him! It's him!" Su Yingxiu had thought that Su Ping was the student of that titled battle pet warrior. She was disappointed, thinking that it was then impossible for her brother to take that exalted warrior as his teacher. She was startled by Su Kuang's words. "What him? That titled battle pet warrior?" Su Kuang was excited. Then, he remembered all of a sudden that Su Ping's young look was utterly confusing. He hurried to explain, "I forgot to tell you. The titled battle pet warrior that taught me is younger than I am. Sister, he is more talented than me." Su Yingxiu paid no heed to the added compliment. She had already been left dumbfounded. "He's the titled battle pet warrior you mentioned." Su Yingxiu opened her eyes wide. "How could he be so young?" Su Kuang nodded. He sounded smug. "However strong you are, there's always someone stronger." Su Yingxiu was speechless. That someone was not merely stronger. He was insanely stronger. Of course, the first thing she had to do was to make sure that what Su Kuang had told her was the truth. How could there be a titled battle pet warrior this young? If that person was this powerful, he would easily win the championship at the Elite League. The past winners of the Elite League were all core members of famous households. None of those winners would be in dire want of money and run a store. Did he fool you? Su Yingxiu frowned. She didn't feel good about this. That person had tricked her brother of his money. To make it worse, Su Kuang had traveled such a long way to get there. He had been practically brainwashed. Of course not. Su Kuang explained in a haste. How could I be fooled? Sister, he is young but he is quite formidable. I haven't seen his pets yet but he can defeat my pets on his own. With that kind of strength, he should at least be at the 7th or 8th rank, even if he's not a titled battle pet warrior. The more Su Yingxiu heard about it, the angrier she was. She found several inconsistencies in Su Kuang's words. Su Kuang had not seen that person's pets. Then, he changed his description to the 7th or 8th rank. To become a battle pet warrior of the 7th or 8th rank was difficult enough, but those two ranks could not compare to titled battle pet warriors. Besides, considering Su Ping's age, Su Yingxiu didn't think he was at the 7th rank, not to mention the 8th rank. She had met many important characters in the barren areas. However, it was rare to find an advanced battle pet warrior at such a young age. She had worked so hard so many years after graduating and she had just become an advanced battle pet warrior. The business was busy in the store. Su Yingxiu smelled the stink of money. Her brother was not the only one being tricked. That guy was surely using some tricks to con those people. Follow me. Su Yingxiu pulled a long face and walked over. Su Kuang was surprised. He noticed something was off in his sister's tone. He went after her in a hurry. Sister. Su Ping picked up Zhang Baoxing's pyro canine and told the latter the result of this training. It didn't learn any new skills. Its combat strength was increased by half a rank. The pyro canine had been trained many times. The chances of learning new skills became less as it progressed. Just the combat strength had been increased. Even so, to increase the combat strength by half a rank in one day was still beyond people's imagination. Zhang Baoxing was glad. He thanked Su Ping. He was about to leave for the barren area. He was unwilling to leave this place. On the other hand, he lacked money. He could make some money while training himself in the barren area. Mr. Su Ping heard a voice. It was Ye Hao. Zhang Baoxing turned around. He was surprised to see Ye Hao there. What was this academy celebrity doing there at Su Ping's store? Had Ye Hao also been attracted there by the store's fame? Ye Hao still felt strange to recognize Su Ping as his teacher, but what Su Ping demonstrated the day before had convinced him. Su Ping darted him a glance. Are you here for the training? Well, Ye Hao was there to meet Ye Hao and talk to him about combat and cultivation. As for pet training, he wasn't all that interested. After all, he had 8th rank master trainers taking care of his pets. He thought that other people might even hurt his pets. Su Ping stared at him with ardent passion. Ye Hao nodded after some hesitation. To turn him down would be embarrassing to Su Ping, and it could indirectly affect Su Ping's business. Those words shocked the other people waiting there. Mr. Su, we can make reservations. I want that, too. How can we make a reservation? Those in line threw out their questions at once. Su Ping didn't expect that this information could cause such a huge reaction. He lied, promised Ye Hao when the business was still bleak. It seemed that everyone was excited about the reservation option. That was understandable. If they could make a reservation, they wouldn't have to wait there by the door in utter boredom. Su Ping suddenly realized that this was a good way to make money. I'm making money from the reservation of services in my store. That is perfectly justifiable. Someone's deep-buried soul of a dishonest businessman was awakening. Right at that moment. Warning! The store will only receive customers that mean to have their pets trained. No reservation will be accepted. No past reservation is valid, the system said seriously in Suoping's mind. Suoping raised his eyebrows. In his mind, he argued, why didn't you say so when I took Yehao's money? Besides, I'm not asking you to add the reservation service in the store. This is just another method of making money that I personally suggested. Someone else is bound to detect this business opportunity if we don't do it, and they will make the money that should be ours. Yehao asked another question to Suoping, I can give you more money. How much will it cost to be the first? The line was long. Yehao didn't have the patience to wait for another 9 people. Suoping stopped the conversation in his mind. He remembered the system's words so he didn't cross the line. There's no set price for now. You have to wait for your turn. Yehao frowned. He looked at the boy standing in front of Suoping and asked, how much do I have to pay for you to give up your spot for me? The boy was startled. He had heard about Yehao's wealth. Hesitating, the boy proposed, 5,000. Yehao replied at once, I'll give you 10,000 and I will take your spot. The boy was overjoyed. Are you serious? Here, take my place. The 10,000 was enough for the boy to have his pet trained there once. The other people behind this boy were taken aback. All of a sudden, their eyes began to glow. They had an epiphany. This was a brilliant way of making money. And an easy way of making money at that. Those standing at the front did nothing more than get up early in the morning. You could make 10,000 just by getting up early? 10,000 was what a person could make in 2 months. This was some easy money. Suoping knew this would happen. He pulled a long face and said to the system, see, they are the ones who'll be raking in the money. The system, Suoping heaved a sigh in sorrow since the system didn't reply. System, you are too innocent. You don't understand the complexity of human nature. You can set up a rule that no one can transfer their spot and they can only have their own pets trained. That being said, he stopped before he had finished his sentence. He wished he could slap himself in the face. The formerly quiet system said, you're right. From now on, people that come to the store cannot transfer their spots in the lines. Besides, they can only train their own pets. The ones that transfer their spots will be blacklisted forever. I will recognize them no matter what disguise they take. No kidding. Out of anger, Suoping slapped himself in his face. Yehao was scared by Suoping's sudden action. The former thought that he had offended Suoping by proposing to buy the spot. Yehao said in a haste, Mr. Su, don't do this. Mr. Su, it's not worth it. Suoping didn't say anything to him. Inside, he was arguing with the system, biting his teeth. System, it is unethical to copy other people's ideas. You're not other people. You are my host, the system corrected him. Suoping was on the verge of bursting into tears. He wasn't moved. He was enraged. The lines were about to fall apart. Many students at the head of the line were turning around to sell their spots. All of a sudden, Suoping realized that what system did was not entirely bad. If the spots could be sold and transferred at will, then maybe, in the future, when he opened up the door, the only faces he could see were the ones lining for other people but not people that had gone there to train their pets. Maybe, when this news was spread out, the general public would occupy the spots and use this as a way to earn a living. Besides, someone with untoward intentions would hire many people to occupy the spots to make a fortune. At this rate, no matter how good the services would be in the store, the reputation would be permanently damaged. Suoping sighed inside and then announced to the customers, the spots in the line cannot be transferred. Everyone must be here to have their own pets trained. Anyone that doesn't want their spots can leave. Anyone that is found out about having sold their spots for profit will be on the store's blacklist forever. The restless crowd quieted down at Suo Ping's words. Everyone was dumbstruck. The boy at the front of the line was about to take Ye Hao's money. That boy was stunned and he asked, "So, my spot is? No transfers allowed?" Suo Ping had no other choice. That boy was vexed. He would throw a temper if it weren't for Suo Ping's strength. He was that close to receiving the money. Frustrated, the boy said, "But, this spot is mine. I can give it to whoever I want, right?" Suo Ping nodded. "That's right. So, the store is mine. I can receive whoever I want." The boy was speechless. Ye Hao didn't expect this, either. The spot had been taken away from him. He even wondered if Suo Ping was doing this because of him. Who would implement such strange rules? If this was the case, even titled battle pet warriors would have to wait in line at the store? Then, my reservation, Ye Hao was worried. Suo Ping found this a problem as well. He asked the system and it replied, "One-time exception and cannot be repeated." Suo Ping was relieved to have this answer. He said to Ye Hao, "I think highly of you. That is why I saved the spot for you. It is not a matter of money. The store never had a reservation service available. If you want to come for training, come earlier." Ye Hao didn't know what else to say. He never intended to go there for the training in the first place. But then Suo Ping sounded serious and he even suggested coming earlier. Ye Hao might not even come back again. It was just that the business in Suo Ping's store was busy. Ye Hao knew that Suo Ping probably didn't have time to talk to him because he had only gone there to talk about cultivation. Since Ye Hao had said that he wanted the training service himself, to turn around and leave would seem dishonest. He didn't want to cozy up to Suo Ping. That being said, he didn't want to provoke a strange guy with a background he couldn't figure out. Fine. Ye Hao sighed and stood in the line to wait. Suo Ping's words explained the situation to the other students. Some felt disappointed that their way of making money was gone. Some students from better-off families were relieved. If Suo Ping had reservation services, they would have to fight for the spots against some wealthier guys. That wouldn't make any sense. The training service provided in Suo Ping's store was outstanding. The price was high, but considering the effects, the fee was not expensive at all. But if the spots could be transferred, then the price for the spots would be raised to a whopping high level, and the spots could be even more expensive than the training service itself. When people went there for the training service, they would have to pay more for the spots. That wasn't worth it. Since the noise gradually quieted down, Suo Ping went back to business. Since everyone else had accepted this rule, the boy that was going to sell his spot to Ye Hao couldn't complain about it. He just sighed to himself. Outside the store, Su Yingxiu and Su Kuang had witnessed everything. She found this interesting. This store owner was young, but he was seasoned. Besides, she had heard people in the lines whispering. They were praying that they could still get a spot that day. Hunger marketing. Su Yingxiu sneered. She stepped forward. "Make way." Ye Hao turned around. "Who are you?" Su Yingxiu glared at him but didn't answer. She said directly to Suo Ping, who was taking notes, "Are you the owner or the servant here?" Suo Ping looked up. She was a slim and beautiful lady with a well-developed body. Soon, he noticed the familiar person standing next to her. Was that Su Kuang? Su Kuang didn't know that his sister would be this blunt. He was scared. He pulled his sister's sleeve and tried to stop her. "Sister." Suo Ping understood their relationship at once, but he wasn't interested. He went back to write down his notes and said, "I am the owner. Go back in whether you want the training service or anything else. But we don't have many spaces for training left today. I suggest you come back tomorrow." Su Yingxiu was furious since Suo Ping had paid little attention to her. Her face was clouded as she said, "I heard that you're a titled battle pet warrior. I see that some students here refer to you as their teacher. You're quite the con artist. Su Kuang almost jumped. No, no. Sir. My sister must have misjudged something. I'll explain to her right away, please. Su Yingxia was displeased to see her younger brother so brainwashed by this shop owner, to a point that he openly disobeyed her. Meanwhile, several more customers were also trying to smooth things out. Hey, miss, Professor Su is no liar. Maybe you heard something wrong. Yet. We all know he's a titled battle pet warrior. He may look young, but you shouldn't judge him so easily, lady. Look at me. I'm a gentleman who cares about my family despite my average looks. Su Yingxiu's expression turned colder as more people denied her words. You all know? Know what? Just as I thought, he's smart enough to get this many people under his scheme. Without minding the others, she stared at Suiping in the eye. Do you know what kind of social impact you'll cause if you scam money by falsely parading as a titled warrior? Let's see, if you're truly such a warrior as everybody believes, do you dare challenge me to a fight? Oh, don't worry, I'm only a 7th rank battle pet warrior. You can handle that much, right? 7th rank, a customer yelled in surprise, but she looks so young. Ye Hao was ready to enjoy the fun when his rival got beaten, but he no longer felt good when he heard Su Yingxiu's words. As someone always proud of himself, he had enough problems dealing with Luo Fengtian and Suiping. A woman had just sprung out of nowhere and was even better than Luo Fengtian, she looked just a few years older than him. Ye Hao clenched his fists as he thought how unfair this world could get. Suiping gave the woman an impatient glance as he didn't intend to accept the challenge at all. It would waste his time while getting him nothing in return. Don't have time. Get out. Su Yingxiu scowled as she thought this guy would at least say no politely. Doesn't he want to do something when he's questioned in front of all these customers? Ha! You see that? Su Yingxiu spoke to everyone, he can't even deal with a 7th rank warrior. Titled? Don't make me laugh. However, those present weren't reacting in the way she had expected. Oi, babe, you got something wrong in your head. Which class are you from? I don't think any student from our academy has reached the 7th rank yet. You may be a big shot to us, miss, but I suggest you be nice to Professor Su. Or his Inferno Dragon will swipe your ass to the next street over. Yet. You're only at the 7th rank. That's not even worth the professor's time. Su Yingxiu widened her eyes in disbelief. Are you all blind? This man is clearly a fraud, and you're still helping him? An Inferno Dragon? Even real titled warriors don't tell *T like that. Su Yingxiu had spent many years dealing with all sorts of people in the settler base. She thought she had seen enough odd things. But what just happened in front of her still managed to infuriate her. She couldn't remember when she had felt this angered before. You fools! In her view, mentioning the existence of an Inferno Dragon had stripped the last bit of credit Suiping could have. How could anyone be stupid enough to tell such a blatant lie? She took several careful breaths and looked at Suiping again. I don't care what kind of tricks you used to swindle them. But there will be no more of your filthy farce on my watch. We'll settle this with a fight. I'm not going to waste any more breath talking to you. Sis. Su Kuang tugged her clothes, anxious. Silence. Step aside and watch. Su Kuang had always respected his sister since childhood. He could no longer find the courage to oppose her when seeing her acting so seriously. Suiping sighed. I said I don't have time for this **T. Will you scram or not? Scared of me, are you, hey? Yeah, I'm scared. I'm SO000 scared. Can you leave now? Su Yingxiu thought that was the worst she could expect from Suiping. She was wrong. He was downright shameless. To make it worse, no one was thanking her for confronting a liar for justice. Instead, people were giving her odd looks, as if she were the nuisance. You won't escape this, no matter what you say. Su Yingxiu had decided to resort to violence, since she didn't see anyone around the shop who could stop her. I'll just reveal your forgery once I get you under my feet. Without summoning her pet, Su Yingxiu simply enchanted a hand with powerful astral power and slapped Su Ping. Su Ping glanced at the incoming attack and looked at his account book again as if it was nothing to worry about. Seeing this, Su Yingxiu tried to soften the attack slightly so Su Ping didn't later blame her for ambushing someone while defenseless. It would be better if she could force Su Ping to fight back. Clang! Her hand hit something invisible before it reached Su Ping and was bounced back, along with all the strength she put into the attack. The recoil knocked her several meters back and caused her entire arm to go numb. What was that? Su Ping put down his book and addressed the closest customer. Wait here, I'll get your pet. He left for the pet room at the back of the shop without sparing a glance at her. Su Yingxiu looked between Su Ping and her hand with broadened eyes. She didn't see Su Ping move or use any astral power to counter her attack. Are you all right, sister? Su Kuang feared that his sister was wounded. Su Yingxiu tried moving her affected arm with a frustrated look, while the waiting customers stared in awe. None of them saw how Su Ping pulled that off, though they were somewhat glad to see the tough visitor getting baffled into the bargain. A piece of advice, lady. Apologize to Professor Su when you still have the chance. Do you think all of us were joking when we said he's a titled warrior? You should feel lucky that he's a good guy, since that was enough reason for him to kill you. I second that. You're at the 7th rank, huh? Had. Even advanced battle pet warriors better than you would have to behave in this shop. Who do you think you are? Su Yingxiu's cheeks blushed in both embarrassment and rage. She still didn't know if Su Ping was a titled warrior, but that move or whatever he used just then meant he was a lot stronger than her. Trust me, sister. You're making a mistake. Su Kuang tried. Su Yingxiu was never someone who would easily make mistakes. But this time, she knew she probably had to admit it. More customers snickered when seeing how the woman's ego was bruised. Soon, Su Ping returned to the counter and handed a pet to the waiting customer. Are you truly? Su Yingxiu asked him with a strange look. Su Ping ignored her and proceeded to the next customer in line. Again, he didn't have time for this. Su Yingxiu gave Su Ping another careful glance and decided not to offend such a potential genius who probably came from a very rich family or an influential teacher. Sorry. I was being reckless. Get out the way if you don't have proper things to say. I have a business to run. Su Yingxiu felt both annoyed and glad that Su Ping never gave her a direct look. This had told her that he wasn't someone who would hold grudges over time. She bowed to Su Ping politely and took Su Kuang away, whereas Su Kuang didn't feel like leaving so soon yet. He went there that day to leave a good impression, but instead he caused the opposite result thanks to his sister. Professor Su, may I visit you again? He asked while being dragged by Su Yingxiu. Su Ping glanced his way. No one's stopping you. Note that I won't tolerate such nonsense again. Of course. Thank you. Everyone watched as those two headed to their vehicle and saw the car's plate was from the uptown area, where the rich and the authorities were gathered. Weird. I think I've seen that guy somewhere before. Is he perhaps a student from the Ares Academy? The Ares Academy. That name aroused another round of chatter among the students. The Ares Academy was commonly believed to be the best school in Longjiang City for a long time, and the notion had remained for over a century. Most top scorers who attended the Phoenix Peak Academy tried to go there but had to pick the second option because the admission score of the Ares Academy was higher. The customers had just realized that Su Ping had even been recognized by someone from the Ares Academy. With that, they had more reason to treat him respectfully. Although, their passionate looks were not going to affect how Su Ping dealt with his work. Like usual, he addressed each customer who was there for a pickup, while explaining what kind of new properties the pet had attained. By this point, no one found it necessary to test the result at the shop. At least they would not show any mistrust in front of Suaping anymore. There were still new customers who went to this shop just the day before, who didn't quite believe that the training had been done overnight just by looking at their pets. As planned, Suaping needed only to tell those pets to show what they had learned to convince their owners. Then they finally understood why all regular customers didn't need to confirm the result of the training at all. They weren't paid actors, but people who already tasted the sweet result of such an extraordinary service. Similarly, Yehao found it difficult to believe how pets could be schooled this fast. But as soon as he remembered the rumors about the particular lightning rat, he no longer doubted Suaping. A moment later, Suaping sent all fulfilled customers away and began accepting new orders. Yehao didn't need to wait much longer for his turn. "I want to buy the best training you can offer." Yehao didn't care about the price of the service. To him, he could buy anything that could be bought. Suaping remembered the system's alert and sighed. "Sorry, only normal training is available right now." "Then I'll buy the best normal training." "Well shucks. There's no best normal training. Everyone gets the same." Yehao frowned. "Fine. I need to train my 6th rank Typhoon." This was his secondary pet which had the potential to reach the 7th rank in the future. As for his main pet, the Thunder Basilisk, it was still under treatment after having been fatally wounded the day before. Suaping nodded and noted down Yehao's name, while Yehao calmed his pet down and handed it over. As Suaping received more fund transfers, all the nursing pens and the nursing space were soon filled up again. He had no choice but to end things there and ask the remaining customers to leave, all of whom protested in annoyance, especially the regulars. As for new customers, they went there mainly to get familiarized with the shop. Training their pets wasn't their main goal. Suaping waited for all the crowd to leave and closed the door. In the afternoon, when he finished another exploration round in the Dragon King's heritage ground and returned, he sensed a powerful presence waiting outside the shop. He went to the door to check, only to see that it wasn't a customer. Though he still recognized this man. "Oh, Mr. Su." Ye Chen Shen was a bit startled since the door opened when he wasn't paying attention. He had gone there looking for Suaping earlier, but no one had answered the door in a while. Dialing Suaping's number yielded no results either, so he had to wait at the door and hope that Suaping would return soon. He wasn't expecting to see Suaping come out of the shop instead. Suaping quickly remembered what Ye Chen Shan might have brought him. "Is the mysterious realm open?" "Oh, how are you, Mr. Su?" "All is well." Suaping walked back inside while asking, "Did you finish exploring that space fracture yet?" "That can't be. You don't map out a whole space fracture that fast. Not to mention that the one we're talking about is a pretty big one. From what info we gathered, we have decided to define it as a high-level space fracture, which means it's as dangerous as Class A barren areas. If we want to map the whole thing, 2 or 3 years, I'd say. And that is on the condition that everything goes smoothly." Suaping casually nodded as he didn't know much about barren areas. "Do you know many friends who work in other barren areas?" "Of course I do." Ye Chen Shan smiled. "We Team Polaris own a decent social network. Do you plan to join another expedition soon, Mr. Su?" "No. It's just that, I might need your help to look after someone." "Really?" Ye Chen Shan was glad to find a chance to repay Suaping's favor. "I hope this someone plans to enter a Class B area or below. I'm afraid we can't ensure people's safety if we're talking about a Class A area." Suaping nodded in acknowledgement. A settler team should need extra protection when traveling inside a Class A barren area, even if it only consisted of professionals. Of course they couldn't protect a burden. He decided to leave this matter for later since he still had no idea which barren area Solingya was heading to. "Tell me about the mysterious realm." Ye Chen Shan wasn't expecting the change of subject but decided not to ask. Ahem. The realm will be opened at 9 am, the day after tomorrow. I'll come and pick you up at 6. We need to leave the base city and follow barren pathway number 6 to reach our destination. Nice, I have time to settle a few personal matters then. It's called the Longta Mountain Realm, right? Do you know what it's like? Ye Chen Shan smiled as he was well prepared for such a question. I see you don't check the settlers' website often. I've already sent you everything I know about it via email. Log into your account and take a look. Su Ping turned his computer on and did as told. Although, the mail contained too much for him to finish in a short time. You mentioned that your team got their hands on a treasure map. Did you include that in the mail too? Oh, ahem. Sorry, Mr. Su, it's our top secret and is held by the team leader at the moment. We plan to disclose the information to the team once we enter the realm. This is for safety, please understand. Sure. So, what do I get in return if I join you? Ye Chen Shan was taken aback by such a question. Usually, an available mysterious realm alone was enough reason for countless settlers to scramble there without a second thought, due to the great many treasures they could find. Their team did prepare some reward for Su Ping, because they were asking him to assist them after all. Otherwise, Su Ping would be free to go there alone. Rest assured, sir. While we can't give you the most important loot we can discover in the core area, you have the privilege to freely pick one of the remaining items we find while exploring. Our leader said so. Besides this, we'll pay you 1,000,000 merit points. Is this good enough? Su Ping considered. 1,000,000 points sounded nice, but it was actually not the case because he could earn the same amount by killing an 8th rank monster. Killing a magical corpse beast got him 1.6 million last time. Though he had already spent most of it. Let me see. I'll get 1 million regardless of the result of the mission. If we succeed, I shall get 2 million. Su Ping decided to increase the price. Exploring the mysterious realm was riskier compared to common barren area expeditions, because they wouldn't quit until they achieved their goal. It was just right to be compensated for the extra trouble. Ye Chen Shan frowned. 1 million is pretty good already, and you know it, Mr. Su. Plus, don't forget about the free treasure. You said that I get to choose something while exploring, right? This means I might make a choice only to find a better item later. How about this? I'll wait until we get out of the mysterious realm before I check among all the treasures we take with us. Ye Chen Shan sat back and remained silent. This meant Su Ping would take away the best treasure from the stash apart from the core piece. Ye Chen Shan could no longer agree to this without talking to his teammates first. Besides, he highly doubted that the other members would be willing to give the best item to an outsider. Naturally, they were trying to make sure that the best of the treasures would be enjoyed by their team alone. Sure. Su Ping didn't mind that Ye Chen Shan wasn't making any compromises about those treasures. The interests of both parties had to be kept at a balance. Ye Chen Shan wouldn't agree to anything disadvantageous to them. This was the same rule that Su Ping applied in doing business. Ye Chen Shan went to contact his captain. Soon, his captain answered the call. On the other side was a male with a low voice. He sounded like he was around 40 years old. Ye Chen Shan didn't step away from Su Ping. The conversation happened right under Su Ping's nose. Ye Chen Shan knew that even if he had stepped aside, eavesdropping his phone call was as easy as pie for Su Ping given his abilities, unless Ye Chen Shan used his astral powers to isolate his voice, which would seem strange. Besides, talking about this in front of Su Ping was a way to show his sincerity. As for the result, Ye Chen Shan already had an idea. He was simply going through the motions, contacting the captain and posing the question. The terms Su Ping required weren't easy to accept. 2 million? That's a bit much. Captain, you know I owe my life to Mr. Su here. You know what happened, I understand. But the other team members may complain. We have to work as a team, I know, Captain. But this exploration is going to be dangerous. I've told you about Mr. Su's abilities. If this is too much for you, I will pay the extra myself. Don't be like that. We are all from the same team. Never mind, 2 million it is. The call ended. An agreement had been reached. Ye Chen Shan breathed in relief and smiled at Sui Ping. Done, Mr. Su. 2 million. Okay. Sui Ping nodded. This wasn't a surprise for him. Ye Chen Shan seemed to have had a difficult conversation. That being said, since Sui Ping had been on the streets for a long time, he didn't mind those appearances. When he put forward the terms, Sui Ping had done the math himself. What he was asking was not out of line. They were bound to meet 8th rank beasts during this exploration, and there might be more than one of them. After all, for an exploration less dangerous, their team wouldn't invite anyone else. They could have handled it by themselves. Who would want to risk leaking confidential information, not to mention sharing benefits with outsiders? Sui Ping also thought encountering 9th rank beasts during this exploration was highly possible. Considering this level of danger, what Sui Ping was asking for was a friend's price. I heard something a couple of days ago. The mysterious realm is opening up because some big potatoes in the Longjian base city want to prepare some young people for the Elite League. That is the only thing being revealed to the public. In fact, something is happening in the mysterious realm. Preparing youngsters for the Elite League is a disguise for their true intention. Ye Chen Shan felt well disposed toward Sui Ping, so he began to share some rumors he had heard after the business side of their deal was settled. Ye Chen Shan continued, but those are just stories and speculations. I don't know if they're real or not. Sui Ping didn't mind. Even if the stories were true, they have nothing to do with us. You're right. After all, those big potatoes control more information than we do, and they are more powerful. We will be considered lucky if we can find the treasures there, Ye Chen Shan agreed. Sui Ping nodded. Mr. Su, you must be ready. The mysterious realm opening up is going to attract many people. Some students still in school with powerful connections will have the opportunity to go. Ye Chen Shan added, apart from those elite students who are taking the chance to get ready for the Elite League, some senior explorers are going as well, and the second group poses the greatest threat. There's no surveillance inside the mysterious realm. Killing for money is a common occurrence. The danger doesn't only come from the beasts but from our own kind as well. Noted. Sui Ping didn't reveal any emotions. Ye Chen Shan smiled after a moment of surprise. Of course, Mr. Su, you will be with us, Team Polaris. People won't challenge us, generally speaking. That being said, we cannot be too careful. Sui Ping nodded. I will head back if you have no further questions. I will come and pick you up the day after tomorrow, Ye Chen Shan said. Sui Ping didn't ask Ye Chen Shan to stay. He had to make the best of time to prepare as well. Having sent away Ye Chen Shan, Sui Ping logged onto the Explorer's website to check the email Ye Chen Shan had sent him. Sui Ping took a careful look, and he then had a better understanding of Longta Mountain. He didn't try to find more information online. Ye Chen Shan's research had to be more thorough than his. In the 109 parcels of this mysterious realm hides danger as well as treasure. Those 109 parcels are the main exploration and training sites. The other important site is the Dragon Stand and the Dragon Bones. The Dragon Bones are used for testing. Whenever the mysterious realm is available, some young elites would go to the Dragon Bones for testing. The top ones are most likely to be taken as students of titled Battle Pet Warriors. Sui Ping found this information interesting, but it wasn't relevant to him. He didn't want to take a titled Battle Pet Warrior as his teacher. He began to browse the details of the 109 land parcels. Of the 109, 57 had been explored, and the information of the 57 parcels was quite specific. The treasures in the 57 parcels had been taken away already. Some of those treasures were delivered to the explorer's shop. Explorers could save up some merit points to purchase those treasures. The water barrier Suoping had bought was such a piece of treasure. The rarer and more precious treasures had been collected by people with strong connections or powers. Suoping had to admit that the information Yechen Shan had provided him was comprehensive. It mentioned that once, in Parcel 28, a piece of treasure had been recovered and people said that piece of treasure could inflict harm on legendary battle pet warriors. Someone leaked the information when that piece of treasure had been uncovered. Many parties began to fight for that and a bloody war was waged. That event happened more than a decade before. It was a story of another time. Yechen Shan was surely trying to appeal to Suoping by including this story in the file. He intended to show Suoping how alluring those treasures could be. Each parcel has a number. Apart from those that have been explored, the other parcels remain unknown. Almost all the treasures in the explored parcels have been taken away, but there can be some pieces that might have been missed. Each parcel has a different environment. The information of those explored parcels was specific, but there were very few details about the unknown areas. Suoping browsed through the file to have an initial understanding of those places. Somehow, he had a feeling that this mysterious realm seemed familiar. Suoping turned off the computer. There was no time to lose. He took his pets and went to the Dragon King's heritage round. He could train his pets while exploring more dragon-scale lands. While Suoping was preparing for his visit to the mysterious realm, other people in Longjiang City were getting ready as well. In the upper town area, Su Kuang and Su Yingxiu were sitting in the living room. Apart from them, their father, Su Jiangguo, was also there. He was the president of the Su Group. The Su Group was an enterprise with assets ranging in the billions. In the Longjiang base city, the Su Group was a famous top 10 enterprise. Most families used items produced by the Su Group's subsidiaries. "Sister, do you mean it?" Su Kuang was surprised. He had found out about this just then. The Longta mountain was opening up and his sister's team was going. Born in a wealthy family with a sister that was a senior explorer, Su Kuang was well aware of those mysterious realms, which were far more dangerous than the barren areas. They would have to fight people in addition to the beasts. Every time a mysterious realm was opened, someone would come out with a smile while another would never come out again. "Have you decided which parcel you're going to?" Su Jiangguo asked. Su Yingxiu looked at Su Kuang, patted his head, and answered the question, "I just learned about it. We are going to parcel 83. Su Jiangguo's eyebrows were knitted together. "Do you need Zhang to protect you secretly?" Su Yingxiu shook her head. "We are working with 2 other teams and we have everything ready. We can make it even if other teams try to challenge us." Su Jiangguo was still frowning. He loved and cared for his daughter dearly. "If you sense any danger, you must protect yourself first. I asked someone to prepare this armor for you. Take it." "Sure," Su Yingxiu answered happily. Su Kuang interrupted, "I want to go." The smile on Su Yingxiu's face disappeared. "Don't start acting up." Su Kuang went on, "I just want to go to the dragon stage and test my abilities. It is a public area where no conflicts can happen." Su Yingxiu was relieved to hear those words. But she still adopted a grumpy tone, "Do you need that test to find out about your abilities? I don't think you can pass the first dragon bone. Don't go there and humiliate yourself. The chances of going there don't come cheap." Su Kuang was hopping mad. "Dad, look at her. She's not wrong." Those battle pet virtual devices were popular arcade games. In one of the private rooms, Xia Yuexuan sat in front of the battle pet virtual device and stared at the grey screen with a cloudy face. She had lost again. This was the 207th time. Ever since she received the message from her teacher, she had spent much time thinking about the question at home. That yielded no result. So, she went to the battle stadium to practice in a simulation. According to the requirement of the question, she chose the standard configuration of the battle pets. However, whichever way she tried and whichever skills she used, her pet would be killed by the limbo lion. On several occasions, she was very close to making her pet and the limbo lion perish together, but every time, she just lacked that final touch and she lost. This is too hard. Xia Yuexuan was sweating. She pulled the rod to start again. 5 minutes later, her screen dimmed down, again. Again. Lost. Again. Time after time, Xia Yuexuan could not even concentrate. Her teacher had given her 3 days but she had no clue at the moment. Having lost so many times, her mind had become unclear. All of a sudden, some information that she had almost forgotten popped out. Since she had no other choice, she subconsciously began to implement that method. First, use death hymn. Then, the soul incursion. However, before she could use the soul incursion, the limbo lion had pounced over. The death hymn was of no effect, at all. The screen dimmed for yet another time. Xia Yuexuan's mind cleared up. She bit her teeth. She knew that this method would never work. It was ridiculous that she had nursed a slight hope that the liar's method would do wonders. She started over. When she was about to launch the attack again, all of a sudden, she remembered that the liar's method didn't begin with death hymn. Did he say to use dark mist and deadly roar before the death hymn? Since the two abilities were of no use to the limbo lion, Xia Yuexuan skipped over them directly. She frowned and clicked on the keyboard. Dark mist was released. Then, the corpse dance unleashed the deadly roar. She quickly followed up with death hymn. She didn't know why she was trying that liar's method again. Maybe, it was because she had absolutely no way to deal with this limbo lion. On the screen, the corpse dance stood on the spot and used the death hymn. Xia Yuexuan threw a look at the limbo lion. Previously, every time she used this skill, the limbo lion would pounce at the corpse dance because this was its most vulnerable moment. However, this time, to her surprise, she realized that the limbo lion stood still, shaking its head as if it were stuck in some sort of illusion. Was the limbo lion's mind disturbed? Xia Yuexuan was taken aback. She opened her eyes wide. Almost by instinct, she initiated the soul incursion. The limbo lion trembled for a second and then a mist came over its eyes. The soul incursion worked. Xia Yuexuan was stunned. Then, she remembered the third step that the liar had told her, to make the corpse dance step forward and punch the lion in the face. Even without that liar's explanation, Xia Yuexuan would clearly take this rare chance to land the final blow. Soon, the corpse dance pounced at the limbo lion and tore it apart. Ever since the beginning, the limbo lion had had no chance to fight back. This was such an easy win. Xia Yuexuan looked at the word victory on the screen. She still couldn't accept this. Was it that easy? Did she win? A long time later, she came back to her senses. Seized with a mixed feeling, she started the game again. This time, she chose the same skill combo as before, Dark Mist Deadly Roar Death Hymn Soul Incursion. The limbo lion again sunk into the illusion while trembling. The combo worked again. Xia Yuexuan controlled the corpse dance to tear apart the limbo lion at once. The word victory emerged on the screen. She had won again. Xia Yuexuan stared at the screen. Winning once might be a coincidence, but winning twice would be something else. Previously, she had tried every means she thought were effective but none of them worked. However, she won twice in a row by using that liar's method. She remained silent for a moment and then tried once again. She won. And again. She won 8 times in a row. The same method and the same victory without any accidents. Winning had become a sure thing. She paused for a moment and then dived back into the game. This time, she used her old method. Soon, the screen turned grey. She had lost. Several times later, she was certain that to win against this limbo lion, she had to go with that liar's way. Wait a minute. If the method worked, then that person wasn't a liar. Xia Yuexuan's face turned pale at this thought. If he weren't a liar, then he must truly be a titled battle pet warrior. And she had filed complaints against a titled battle pet warrior. She was covered in cold sweat and appeared to be ghastly pale. She even called that person and hurled verbal abuse at him profusely. Her heart was pounding. The only thing that made her glad was that she had concealed her real number. That person didn't know who she was. Oh no! I have to withdraw the complaints right away. She wasn't in the mood to continue the experiments. She dashed out of the battle stadium at once. When she went back home, she went online immediately to withdraw the complaint, only to find that it was being processed and could not be withdrawn. Usually, the feedback would be provided after 2 to 3 days when the complaint was being processed. Xia Yuexuan clicked on the mouse madly, trying to stop the process. But there was no reaction. Her face was clouded. She wanted to open up the chat window to apologize to that person. However, she had blocked his chat and deleted him from the blacklist. She couldn't even unblock him. Xia Yuexuan was too frustrated to cry. She then remembered her phone. Yet soon, she wailed again. She had blacklisted and deleted that person on her phone as well. To make it worse, she didn't bother to memorize his number. I am doomed. There is no fixing this. Xia Yuexuan was depressed. The only thing that made her feel better was that the guy didn't know her. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be able to sleep. Never mind. I will hand in my answer. This will be a reminder to not be so reckless in the future. Xia Yuexuan sighed. She opened the folder, found the question, and then typed in the answer. Then, she emailed it to her teacher. In case that her teacher would miss this email, she called her teacher right after. Sir Yuexuan, I've been meaning to call you. Sir, what is it? The Longta Mountain is opening up. I've just got the news that our academy can select 3 students to go to Parcel 65. For all I know, Parcel 65 is one of the priority parcels and the teams will be led by the future family head of the Qin family. There must be many treasures there. Those that join the team can get 1 treasure each. It is free to join the team. Our academy got this chance through our principal's connections. But you must know that many students want to go and are now fighting over the chance. If you can do well this time, I will try and put you in. Xia Yuexuan was stunned by this news. Longta Mountain? She had heard about this when she went on exploration in the barren areas before, but she had never gone there. Besides, the Qin family that was just mentioned was a local overlord at the Longjiang base city. The Qin family could do whatever they wanted if not completely controlling the city. Sir, what do you mean? I gave you a question last time. Think about it and solve it. That is an advanced level question. Answering it can get you many points. Xia Yuexuan understood. She felt both glad and troubled. She said, Sir, I finished it. I just emailed it to you. Really? So fast? You have 2 more days. The Longta Mountain is going to open the day after tomorrow. There's no rush. Okay, but the answer I came up with should be the best. Are you sure? Well,